Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Rupert Richardson, and this is my producer's podcast for my advanced sessions recording class. And thank you, and here we go. The producers that I did my podcast on, that I'm doing this podcast on, and yes, I say producers because it's actually a production team that I did, and they are possibly definitely one of the most powerful production teams and producers. Um, but yet again, they're also probably the most quietest at the same time. And I did them as a team because they all make one record, and their reign lasted from like early '80s. I mean late '80s, excuse me. Took over the '90s and a little bit in the 2000s. And yes, the output of tracks have definitely slowed over recent years. Definitely not a household name in today's time, but most definitely, like their initial work proved incredibly influential, and not just in the Atlanta area or the Atlanta music scene, but the whole industry. And they changed the whole Southern sound while doing it. Um, yes, they make Southern music, hip hop music, and none other than I'm talking about the production team, the trio of Organized Noise. Organized Noise is a hip hop production team. They're made up of three people, and they each are like they're special in their own way. They bring different things to the table. One is Rico Wade. Two is Sleepy Brown, Patrick Sleepy Brown, I should say, and the third is Ray Murray. Now, like I said, each of them they bring something special to the table. So Patrick Sleepy Brown, soulful vocals, and he's on the sick keys. He plays the keys. So either he'll lay the melody down on the keys or he'll sing the melody that's actually on the track. And he's an artist in himself, but he mainly just works with Organized Noise. So anything on the track, that's him. That all the melodies and stuff like that. As far as like Rico Wade and Ray Murray, they handle like the boards and the majority of the instrumentation. And when I say instrumentation, I mean like you could hear it, like everything they have. It's like their sound is just warm and soulful, even though it's hip hop and like they can make raw hip hop, sounds. But in every track that they make, it's so warm and soulful. You have a soulful feeling to it, from jazz instruments like saxophones, clarinets, to strings, woodwinds, the whole nine yards, brass, and of course a very distinctive bass. They handle their business when it comes to separating themselves from the normal hip hop sound. The Southern hip hop sound is usually like stereotyped anyway, so they really broke barriers on from when it came to their productions. They really broke a lot of barriers because, like I said, they have a warm, soulful feeling. They use actual real instruments, and the sound actually, it sounds like a movie score if you listen to most of the tracks. It paints a very vivid picture. Some of the artists that they dealt with or that they worked with, um, hands down, and the first one that you could think of and that you have to think of is Outkast. They broke Outkast's career basically. They're the ones who let them in, producing their first album, Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music. They produced the whole thing, and the first thing you think of when you hear organized noise is Outkast. You know, famous for Outkast. So shout out to Organized Noise for that. Now Goodie Mob is like Outkast in a sense. They all know each other, so they formed together to make what they call the Dungeon Family. and that's just all of them together as like a big crew. You know, Organized Noise as the productions, and the rest, Outkast and Goodie Mob as the artists. Other artists is TLC, Ludacris, In Vogue, Amy Winehouse. They actually worked with Amy Winehouse before. CeeLo, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Starlight Orchestra, and even the late great Curtis Mayfield. And those are just some artists, to name a few, and they all have hit records with those artists that I just named. A story about them and Curtis Mayfield, it's sad, but it's amazing at the same time. With Curtis Mayfield, they actually recorded the song that they did with him for his final album when he was paralyzed. So he was laying on his back, and they had the microphone hanging from above while he sang the vocals to the song. So they worked together while Curtis Mayfield was paralyzed, and like I said, it was Curtis Mayfield's final album. My favorite production from Organized Noise that they've done, hands down, has got to be Outkast. One of the singles from Outkast's first album, and that's Southern Playalistic. It's a smooth song. It's hip hop at the same time. It's just the beat in itself, from the smooth saxophone you could hear, the horns and the drums, everything. It's just a warm feeling. It's raw. It's hip hop. It's real soulful, and then it paints a vivid picture, very vivid picture, as you listening to it. And then of course Outkast comes on, and they just finish the whole picture. They just top it off. They put the icing on the cake. And yeah, Southern Playalistic, that's definitely my favorite production by them. To wrap it up, Organized Noise, definitely, hands down, the most slept on production team in my eyes. A lot of people don't even know who they are. They're low key, and it's also a good thing about them too. They don't have a tag on their instrumentals or the beats that they make like a lot of people do, but they definitely have the credits, they have the credibility, and they make beautiful music. Organized Noise, my favorite producers. Thank you. My name is Rupert Richardson. This is my Advanced Sessions recording podcast. Have a good day.